Alright, we are go.
Coffee regular.
Season 2, episode 3.
Yeah, I think that's what I wrote down.
Yep.
I hope that's what I wrote down.
Yeah, that's where we're at.
Yeah, cool.
So
we're kind of revisiting martial arts heroes.
And
I just suppose heroes in general and that sort of thing. Last week we were a little bit, not negative, just sort of on the downer side of it.
Yeah,
because
we got downer, and I think we've worked out our issues. How about that?
Yeah, it was therapeutic.
It was very therapeutic.
It was more of like a what not to be kind of thing.
Yeah.
But yeah, this week I was touching on just like other examples that we made last week, like with Goliath from Gargoyles and like who else did we talk about? Teddy Roosevelt, stuff like that.
And we went all over.
Yeah.
All right, so today I want to open with two things. One, I'm straying a little bit from Ohio coffee today because we're having a coffee that's Ohio coffee to me. Caribou coffee. They're caribou, like normal roast, beautiful medium roast with a little cacao powder in the coffee press. Beautiful.
Can't go wrong.
Beautiful, smooth, delicious coffee. But I will kick off today with a story of there's a spot in my backyard where the grass doesn't grow well. If you ever get to see my backyard, my grass is beautiful. It's nice. It's like carpet. It was like that when I moved in. I'm not a lawn guy, but I try to keep it that way. So I have this spot. And me and my daughter are discussing, like, maybe we should do something with this spot. She goes, Papa, Mr. Miyagi. Let's Mr. Miyagi it. And I'm like, alright, but I thought we wanted to Street Fighter it too. She goes, yeah, we need to Street Fighter it as well. So this is how we talk. And so there's going to be like the Miyagi Street Fighter corner of my yard. And this summer that's what we're working on. But if you talk about like positive heroes, positive things to do, I'm thinking of Street Fighter Assassin's Fist. If you don't own it, buy it. It was a web series. It's amazing. It's actually supposed to be... There was a web series, and then there was a big gap, and then they did like a prequel to Street Fighter V, so there's this whole thing in the middle they might be doing a actual TV show of.
Sweet.
It's going to be amazing.
That'd be dope.
But yeah, all Ken and Ryu stranding is what we refer to in that. And then Mr. Miyagi's backyard is Mr. Miyagi's backyard.
Right.
And yeah, so...
you replicate that type of positivity, and that's just kind of where your brain goes, and that's where you can like wire yourself for that sort of thing, as opposed to the negative, I suppose, or just like pulling on that like victim mentality or something like that, or like you want your training to. I mean, if you need to sort through stuff, but you want it to lift you up. Yeah, that's what it's all basing back to.
Yeah, you're there to be lifted up. You're there to be put in a good mood, and so create the space in that way.
Yep.
You know, very much why like my basement dojang is surrounded with pictures and quotes of all my favorite peoples. So I can come down here and every day I can see something new. And look at it, read it, yeah, that's what I needed today. And I got, I can train in every way I want to train.
Yep.
Right here. And then
uninterrupted.
Yeah, uninterrupted, and watch a cool movie, and yeah, it's a positive space.
Yeah.
But intentionally created based on lots and lots of training scenes from lots and lots of kung fu movies from, the 60s through today.
You created your own.
Yeah.
And now, years from now, hopefully someone will look back at Coffee Regular Podcast and be like, dang, I need that basement dojang.
That spot is nice. Yeah.
Or even if it's you don't train or anything, you just create a small little space in your house. That's your corner, that's your whatever, and you chill out there, and that's your mental space where you
create that
work on stuff.
Spot. Yeah, I have one of my daughter's friends down the street. His mother has a brother who lives in Northern California who comes here, and we train together when he comes. He's cool, but his house got a meditation room. He's a firefighter in California, and he's like, "Yeah, we got a meditation room." I'm like, bam, that's cool.
Yeah. I mean, I don't have like a huge apartment or anything by any means, but I have a one little corner with like mats and my like salt lamp and my stuff, and like that's my corner. I stretch out and move and roll and do whatever there.
That spot has like an energy to it.
Yeah.
But is that spot inspired by any training scenes or movies or ideas? Like, where are you going?
The dojang. that was, I was like, dang, I need mats.
Yeah.
I mean, it's been a goal, I think it's every person's goal, or any serious martial artist.
Serious martial arts for sure, to be able to train in your pajamas at home.
Yeah, to like just wake up, have some coffee, and do your thing, and in your training zone. But then on top of that, it allows you to create a space that you can control who's in and who's out.
Yes.
Say like a gym or something like that isn't necessarily like yours or something like that. You can't control that, or
no.
But that, like at home, like if you want someone there, they want to come, like they'll be there, and
that's why my Chinese demon is at the top of the stairs.
Yeah,
he protects it from bad people.
Exactly.
Bad people can't come down here.
Exactly, and I think that reflects on the energy. That's why I think we do this here. Yeah. I think we do this down here.
Why we're here in this little corner where, we've tried other places in my house.
Yeah.
It's cool.
This is the flow.
This is the spot, man. Yeah.
Because we're both comfortable in the mats, the training gear, like that's home.
Yeah.
So, but I think that relates back to just sort of the generic, like, martial arts heroes. Like, they're always in their dojo training. They're always
in
there.
Their spot.
They're always in their element. So I think that type of replication on our end is manifested that way. Like, shit, I know I'm never going to be, like, fucking superhero or anything, but we're kind of talking about last week, like, I'm going to have my lair where I go to train and, like, do this and, try and be superhuman, but...
Yeah, what is superhuman? I mean, what is magic but, science that hasn't been explained yet.
Mm-hmm. Right.
Exactly. Look how fast Usain Bolt can run.
Yeah.
And actually, he says he's slow now. He's like, by that gear, it's gone. I'm old.
Mm-hmm.
And he still runs a sub 10 second 100 meters and still crushes people. Like, even, 20 years ago, Michael Johnson, 30 years, 96, I'm thinking like 30 years ago, like Michael Johnson, he wasn't running that fast. He was the fastest man on the planet for a while there. Even he's like Usain Bolt.
Yeah.
And there's some little kid coming up that Usain Bolt's like, he's going to crush it. He's hitting 8 seconds. Watch.
Yeah. There's always going to be that next number chaser, that next whatever, like the next.
But I mean, if you see someone do it, it becomes possible.
Oh yeah.
The classic story of the dude who ran the first 4-minute mile. As he was training for that, everyone's like, "Your heart's going to explode. You're going to die. Your legs are going to fall off." He does it. The next year, 15 people do it.
Mm-hmm.
You tell me those 15 people couldn't have done that
at
the same time? It's belief.
Yeah.
It's the monkey see, monkey do, right? But you'll see it if you believe it.
Absolutely.
For me, heroes comes down to that. Of even if it's a comic book character that I admire, say DareDevil, of Daredevil's radar. Well, as a kid who was pretty much legally blind, just the concept of it allowed me to heighten my senses and pay attention to other things.
Well, yeah, instead of like being like, oh fuck, I'm legally blind, like, you could probably sit around and bitch and moan about it because it's hard.
Well, as a kid, I didn't know.
Yeah,
but,
right.
Yeah,
but
I know the difference.
Yeah, but then like that put a positive spin on something negative for you.
And like Daredevil's got radar.
Yeah, like Daredevil, like, dang, that's my radar. Cool.
Yeah, I click. I do when I walk in rooms. I'll click and stuff, and I'll touch walls. I can get a sense of the room. I can actually feel it. I can feel the sound waves. It's kind of funny, but
yeah, that has. I mean, that reflection from the comic book realm, but that comes into real life in some.
Drag it into reality, man. Yeah. It's but the idea.
Are you fighting bad guys in Hell's Kitchen every day? No, but if you walk into a room and you can tell like what the acoustics are and tell what's going on,
feel comfortable and have a sense of space.
Exactly.
My ears are my depth perception.
Yep.
But they're my depth perception because Daredevil gave me the idea when I was a little kid, and I started working on it, and I realized I was kind of doing that anyway.
You knew it was possible. You knew it was a thing. Mm-hmm. It was a thing that existed in nature, so you're like, okay, I can do that. Boom.
I can do that. Yeah, cool. This will be fun.
Yeah.
But I don't know. What do you got, Cheney?
I mean,
who inspired your inverted guard or whatever?
Man, like when I started, I always like trained to replicate the best people that I thought were the most dominant people. Not necessarily at that time, but just like throughout the sports that I wanted. Like, wrestling, like Cale Sanderson, who's undefeated in college, and he's
and
now,
a hell of a coach.
Yeah, now he's running the most
State.
prestigious wrestling program in the country. But I learned just like specific things. Like I just pulling from the best sources, like Marcelo Garcia. I like certain things he does. So like I like to do arm drags and like butterfly guard, but then I also like the leg locks and stuff of like certain like catch wrestling stuff. I like throws, like the certain throws that I like, not necessarily like judo or jiu-jitsu per se, but like sort of like hybrid wrestling throws. So it all kind of comes from different sources to kind of make my game. You know what I mean?
Make your game, but you're pulling from somewhere.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Whether it's, but again, like let's look at like striking, like that when I was like doing Muay Thai, I like Bukau. Like he was just a crazy kicker. He was, I wanted to replicate that. There's in Ramond Deckers, like just these, killers basically. So you start to aim for like these almost superhuman levels. Like you're gonna find something in the middle. Probably
you're gonna find something there. But the cool thing about that too is that the upside of knowing your heroes are human is they're freaking human. They do that.
Right. It's like, well, why can't I?
Yeah, why not? Like I mean, if you're talking to like old Taekwondo people I used to emulate, Hyon Lee. Hyon Lee was my dude. Look him up. Hyon Lee versus Danny Kim Pro TKD. That's my favorite fight of all time. I had that taped when I was in high school, and I'd watch it every morning. The tape actually wore out. But yeah, thank you, YouTube.
Yeah,
bringing that back.
Yeah, for real.
YouTube. But just outside of movies, like real life, I had a coach who I would emulate his back kick. He had a great back kick. I love that kick. But Hyon Lee's movement patterns, man, and just how he bounced. I even stole one of his haircuts.
That's the thing. Like it was more than just like a move they did. It was their maneuvering before that, like the way they're. You could like see the ozone before they did this fucking move. Like you could, but they were so relaxed. They were so in the zone.
Like I showed that to my wife years later. I showed that fight to her, and she goes, "That's how you fought."
Yeah.
I'm like Hyon Lee, seriously? And she's
yes.
like, yeah. See how he look how he wiggles and see how he moves his feet and look at that check. You did that. I'm like, well, I guess I did.
You're like, so some of the imitation paid off.
Yeah, like I did it. Yeah, some of it worked. Neat.
But yeah, you see, like even just like some of the smaller nuances, like timing of certain things, or that's where it starts to kind of, where you can start to dig in and study stuff of your heroes, and then pick out what makes them human. But it like makes you like, think, oh, I could beat them there, or I maybe have better this.
I can do that. I can make that to the next level. But mirror neurons are a thing, and we have the most of them of any mammal, which is why, Leonardo DaVinci would say that humans are imitators. But that's why we can watch things and absorb them. I'm reading a book called The Inner Game of Tennis right now.
Oh yeah, I read
Thank you, Firas Zahabi.
It's a great book.
But I'm right at the beginning, and he said when he was starting to figure that out, he attempted teaching somebody. He said, "Just watch me serve this." And he did it 5 times, and the guy watched. And he said, "Don't even think about it. Just watch me and just do it." And he said all the things he got right. And he said the one thing he was thinking about was footwork, and he got that wrong. But everything else he wasn't thinking about, he got right, just from observation. And that's mirror neurons, if you're bringing it into that. And so, by studying tape, by having heroes, by trying to emulate them, simply by looking at them, listening to their rhythm, watching how they walk, you pick up a lot more than you realize.
I think that takes... I suppose it starts with interest. Like you have to be interested in looking for the next step or looking for the nuances. Like if you're not interested, you're just going to look at the maneuver and that's going to be it. You're not going to look for like, why is this happening? What's happening before? What's happening after? What's happening during? Like you break it down so far that you're like, okay, I understand this entirely now. Now then you're like, okay, can I copy this, implement it, and recreate it on a high percentage scale? Then
you just can start digging deeper and deeper as you copy it more, and then learn all the little bits.
I think that's it's obviously evident, like in teaching kids, like that we're mirror mammals and stuff like that. Like I have some kids in my kids class that aren't super verbal, but like I can talk to them and or demonstrate and show them, and still get them to do what we're doing.
People do what you do, not what you say.
Exactly.
So As a teacher, I'm very aware of that as well.
Right.
Just move right. Don't worry so much about the words. The words will happen, but if you move correctly,
I could say I could say one thing 10 different ways. One might click, but for you to actually implement that into movement isn't going to mean anything for a long time.
Yeah.
But if I move and if I need to, I'll like physically place your hands or feet or something like that to understand the leverage point, and then it's up to you.
It feels different. Whoa, yeah.
Yeah, and like that's the light bulb moment that you look for. Like, that's where you. But that's the benefit of having a coach.
Benefit of having a coach and the benefit of teaching physical things.
Yeah.
I'm not as good at that if it's something on paper per se.
Right. Yeah, there's no way I could like sit down and teach someone like accounting or something.
Yeah, I mean, I can explain the idea of a tie back in storytelling to you, but I got to tell you the whole damn story first, and then see how I put that in, see how it ties back, and maybe you get that over time, but it's a lot easier for me to see like, here's how you throw a kick, and I can get you basic there real quick. I don't know.
Yeah, it's depending on how much time you have with people, how much time in, like, like that comes back to like just student-teacher relationship. Like, the more time you spend with someone, the more you're going to realize like how they communicate, how you communicate with them, and like how you actually get a point across to them.
Okay, so that brings up a cool question then, as far as heroes and emulating people. Ultimately, teaching is your own style, but you learn from other people.
Yep.
So teaching-wise, like, heroes versus people you don't know, who you pulling from?
Teaching-wise, like, it was more like calmly charismatic people. Like, I'm trying to think of a good example of that. I guess like Simon Sinek or someone like very just steady like a bullet train, but still trying to deliver something, but they don't have to be like overzealous and like, because that's not me.
But I mean, you've been teaching for a long time.
Yeah.
Where do you think some of it came from?
Probably the environment that I came up in, like the way I teach. Like you mentioned it, like how like I let a class kind of start up on its own, and like it's class time, but I haven't necessarily like reined anyone in. But like as soon as I start to walk out, then it's kind of like the sound sucks down, everyone starts to pay attention, and like class starts, and like I don't necessarily have to do anything for it. But in terms of like from that teacher role, I found that I've always had to ease the, I don't know, discomfort or something, like with starting something formal like a class or something, I guess. Like, sometimes it's weird to like line up and be all quiet and bow in and stuff. So like I just fucking don't. Yeah. Like, but at the end we'll do it to just have the camaraderie. Yeah. But again, like the environment that I came up in was just like super weird, and like the teaching was quality. The information was quality, but like the relationship from teacher to student was strained. So I suppose I tried to bridge that gap and just again like be who I needed or who I wanted or whatever. And tried to be that for other people. I mean,
ultimately though, you just need to be you if you find it.
Yeah, that's the thing. Like it took time for me to be comfortable to put myself out there and be that way. And like just let me flow and let like my identity as a teacher go and like do that. It didn't used to be that way too, because I had something fucking breathing down my neck to be like, whoa, it's fucking wrong.
I hate that. Oh god,
so
I feel that, man.
But that's a very recent thing too, is just kind of coming into my own that way. Just like
your freedom has only been a few years,
right? So like, it's it's learning what I can take from the past that's positive and leave what's shitty behind and learn from that and move on.
I got you.
And still just, grow.
All right, well, I don't know, I'll take it a little more specific as far as teaching goes, because I come from a very formal environment, and I've been able to adjust to an informal environment. And so I've talked about how, like, I kind of had to develop a character. And, it's funny, I was telling this off air, but like my teaching voice is now just my voice.
Right, that's just it.
It's like, it's weird. Yeah, this used to just be the voice I had to put on. And I guess I don't know if I created it and now it's there, or this is just my adult voice, and maybe that's, I don't know.
You just grew into
that's a conversation for another day.
Grew into your character.
But yeah, it started with the voice and the posture, and I was looking at Batman, and I was looking at Nightwing, and I was looking at, and there's watching my favorite fighters, how they walk. You always tell a good fighter about how they walk, man.
Posturing.
But it's swag.
Yeah, exactly.
It's the swag. There's a relaxation to it, but there's a strong posture to it. It's all these things, And so I had to start physically and build the character. And then environmentally, I come from a real, Taekwondo, especially my era, was super structured, very militaristic. I didn't have to cut my hair, luckily. I was allowed to have long hair, which was cool, and that's a weird thing to say for the thing you're going to after school that you're paying for. But, by the time I got to Ohio, like, Doc didn't care. She's like, grow your hair long, man, you're cool. You have crazy haircuts. But even, she came up real old school. And where I started in Pennsylvania, super formal, laid back, but fun. But still, there's a structure to it. There's the lineup. There's things you say, things you do. There's, I know in Ohio, man, we have we did the class oath when we started, and everyone lines up and bows in a certain way, and then, at the end of class, you line up and you bow in a certain way, and there's a certain way you talk to people, this person or that person, and really weird carryovers from perception of Korean culture, right?
Yeah.
Which in Athens wasn't so bad. It had its moments, sure, but it really, we called each other by our first names and stuff. It was it got really weird up here. It got a little bit much, and a little overboard. There's still I don't know why this happens, but there is a group of people now, and they're probably all in their 20s, that will call me Master Daniels. I've never asked anyone to call me that in my life.
Yeah.
I hate that. Mr. Daniels was hard enough. I could take that, but for some reason that started happening, and I'm like, shut the fuck up. Technically, I'm not even a 5th degree black belt. That's not a title I can have.
Sure.
I don't know. Based on surgeries, give me that 5th degree guy. but that was sort of the epitome of the weirdness. And so when I fell out of that, and then when I fell out of that, I started boxing, completely the other direction.
Yep.
And
hands.
And just hands, yeah. Same technique though, oddly enough, but you sit down on a punch. Stand up on a kick, sit down on a punch. Other than that, it's the same thing. And small footwork. But structure-wise, there's rap music playing with swear words in it. Everyone's people are shirtless. Coach is swearing. It's a much different environment, and it messed with me for a while. I liked it. It was fun.
But it was diametrically different than
diametrically opposed. But I went back to whole observing, heroes. I watched my boxing coach. How did he move? How did he talk to people? How did he associate? How did he teach? And it was some genius shit. I started calling him Jimmy Carter. because he was a negotiator. He was he could bring peace to anything. He was the alpha in the room. He wasn't a dick about it. Whereas I come from an environment of dick alphas. And then I go into boxing, and there's the relaxed, confident alpha.
He doesn't need to assert.
Doesn't need to assert anything.
But it's taken care of.
But he knows. And we picked up on each other real quick, because I dial into that, and I can learn from a person like that.
Mm-hmm.
And he saw that, like I said, you still watch someone walk, they know some shit.
Exactly.
He saw me walk, and he's like, "What do you do?" I'm like, "Well, okay." He goes, "Oh, okay."
Again, it comes back to that posturing. You see it in the walk. You're like, okay.
But he
experience.
But he didn't step to me. You know what I'm saying? We just sat down and we were talking,
and
it's instant comfort. And so I had kind of these two things in my head, and very much helped me develop a new way of how to be a teacher. I was still my relaxed self, but I was able to let go of the formalities. And it took me a while. When I used to box, I would have a uniform. like I had like a few outfits that I would wear to box.
Yeah.
And it was the same stuff. It was really funny because people at the gym would make fun of me because like you're gonna wear this day. You're gonna wear that day.
You're
I'm like
creature of habit.
yeah, pretty much.
I am.
Yeah, and but it was the transition, and then to have jiu-jitsu kind of be the meld of those two things.
Yeah,
is like kind of that happy medium.
It definitely is on the line, and that can change per school, per class, depending on who's teaching.
I mean, that's anything though.
Yeah,
it's school to school. Like environments are very different.
Absolutely.
But I think, I don't know, maybe jiu-jitsu as a whole was so much more relaxed.
Yeah.
But there's a certain amount of formality in uniform and belt rank, and even no-gi. Like, there's certain things you wear for no-gi that you just like don't come in and dad on.
Yeah.
Seriously.
Shorts over your spats. Don't be gross.
Yeah. Well, some places it's required to wear shorts over your spats, but sure. But it's got its own weird structure. But it's funny how it really does sort of meet it in the middle.
And it's just the time that it was coming up and how it came up, or it was popularized with like the UFC and all that culture too. So like it had that spliced into it.
Yeah.
Whether they wanted it or not.
Yeah, I mean, get what you get.
Yeah, now it's kind of turned into this like hybrid where the relaxation and the humility of martial arts is there, but the sportsmanship is still there too, of like fighting. I don't think like jiu-jitsu people need to be talking shit to each other like in terms of competition, but in terms of selling the sport and perpetuating it, I think
it's fine in a way.
Yeah, like it,
because there are certain people that talk shit, but if they go too far, they get sort of shunned by the community.
Right, exactly. Like, that's the thing. The community, the community's like, all right, that's too much.
You're too much.
It's like the community as a whole has semi-decent common sense.
Yeah,
there's outliers here and there, but overall,
I think it still has a prove it.
Yeah, exactly.
Get in there and fight.
Exactly,
see.
like, because at the end of the day, like, you either suck or you don't.
Yeah, I dig that. I always like that. We can sit here and talk all day. Yeah. Eventually, we got to throw hands.
I know.
Man,
it's like,
you know what I'm saying?
So that's one of the final frontiers that you can still do that, jiu-jitsu.
And within martial arts to a point, but it's getting less and less and less.
Yeah.
And jiu-jitsu and grappling in general is so hard to do alone. Striking, you can hit a bag.
Yep.
You can stand and hit the air.
It's hard to shadow wrestle.
It's hard to shadow grapple. Like, I mean, we were doing shots on Tuesday when I was training, and it's hard to just do a shot.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, I suck at shots, by the way, but yeah, it's hard to just kind of put the knee down and do the thing. If you have a person to grab onto,
makes sense.
It makes a lot more sense.
Yeah.
No.
But heroes in terms of, I mean, obviously, like, I think competitive heroes are the easiest ones to go to, because, like, he wins, he's,
I mean, I studied the shit out of Michael Jordan as a kid.
No, fuck yeah. Like,
and Reggie Miller. And even Magic Johnson, the reason I'm, like, 40% or 30% left-handed was just Magic Johnson was like, you should be able to shoot and dribble equally with both hands. With either hand. I'm like, okay. And, just kind of got after that.
Yeah. But, and that's a really small thing, and that can start to add up to massive things in your life. It's cool.
Actually, I had a friend. I'm been friends with her 10 years. She just recently found out I wasn't left-handed.
See? There you go.
And I had the forethought to be like, I know something you do not know. She's like, what? I am not left-handed.
Boom.
She's like,
mind blown.
She said, you're fucking kidding me. All these years.
Sorry.
Like, I'm athletically left-handed. Sorry.
Yeah. Well, like, I'll kickbox orthodox and I'll wrestle southpaw. Like, I'll switch both, but, like, when it starts to blend, like,
I switch a lot. I mean, but I'm primarily a lefty athletically. Yeah. But, I mean, I'll switch righty. It's fine.
Yeah.
But that's Taekwondo. We switch all the time.
Right.
Yeah. Which used to drive my boxing coach nuts.
Switching.
He'd be like, pick a damn side.
Yeah.
Like, all right, I'm left-handed here.
That's something, like, I work with, like, the shoot boxing and, like, that a little bit. It's, like, they like to switch a lot, too. I'm like, just wait for a little bit before we start switching. Like, just a little.
Just pick one for now.
Yeah. We'll get there. Promise. What other heroes do you find that you channel from, like,
Heroes
outside of martial arts, or even in movies, or like what's like the grandest example of your hero, and then like what's the most human level?
Grandest example. Mary Poppins.
There you go.
Mary Poppins and Burt too. If you're going for the movie. I'd forgotten how much I freaking love Mary Poppins and Burt until me and my daughter went and saw Mary Poppins Returns.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, Dick Van Dyke. If you're talking human, like Dick Van Dyke's the epitome.
Yep.
He's my guy. He's 92 and he can still dance on deck. He can still jump up on a desk and dance.
Yep.
You know, but then just, I mean, if you're just talking as a person who shows up and does cool shit and doesn't make a big deal out of it, Mary Poppins.
Mm-hmm. She's fucking pulling magic out of her.
She's a fucking baller and says nothing about it. In the books, it's really funny because in the movie it's implied, but in the book she very specifically shuts the kids down every time she does something magical. What are you talking about? We didn't do that.
Yeah.
You're exaggerating.
That's funny.
Yeah, and and then my godmother too, she's also a magical being on the Mary Poppins level.
Mm-hmm.
As someone I've emulated as a parent, consciously and unconsciously. And then I talk with her every week, and I give her credit for it. She's like, "What? Yeah, I didn't do that. I guess I did do that. Oh, you saw that? Yeah." And it's really funny, but just she knows everything about everyone.
Yep.
And she can do anything, and like you just don't even see it sometimes, and shit's done. And you know, having been exposed to the behind the scenes on that as a little kid, because I helped her do all that stuff a lot of times, and I was like, "Oh,
yeah,
this is how you work."
Familial heroes like that. Yeah. My grandfather.
Yeah,
my
you told me about your
mother's side,
grandpa. Oh, I wish I could have met that guy.
He was super dope.
Yeah.
And I mean, he just recently passed away, so I've been on that realm. So, but just like, you know, relaying that back to like a real life hero, like he was, and even now I'm just learning like he did this and that, and but he was
things that come out about him.
Like last week I talked about like Teddy Roosevelt. Like he was sort of like fucking Teddy Roosevelt. He was an MD, but he like was an avid hunter. He was into jazz music. He played the trumpet and harmonica, and he was just kind of just a Renaissance man. You know, he had
all these things that sort of wove back into each other.
That, but then like he inherited some oil land in Texas when he was like my age, and then like recently, like when he was 96 or 97, it started spouting oil.
Oh shit!
Like weird shit like that, like just random life events that like he never like told anyone that was a thing, but like he started sending checks out to my parents and aunt and uncle. He was like, "Oh yeah, I've had this, and this is what's starting," and like it's like, what the fuck?
Building up, man.
Yeah, it's like
that's funny.
And just like goofy stuff like that.
I'm a big fan of people who don't brag.
Yeah.
Who have like really cool secrets. As long as those secrets do eventually come out.
Yeah. That's like, the thing. He just passed away, and now I'm learning. Oh,
now
it's
you're
like
learning.
A floodgate.
But he like left all the clues for you.
Exactly.
And I that's cool. Like I appreciate the hell out of that.
Yeah, and that's the thing. Like he was a tremendous grandfather, and like very loving, but also very. He wasn't like withholding by any means, but he was very reserved, and he was just he's just the most intelligent person in the world. You know, the way he emotionally reacted to things or didn't emotionally react to things, you could just.
But I mean, he learned that somewhere.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, that's cool.
So, just in terms of like an intellectual, familial hero, I suppose that would be one.
Yeah.
And I didn't really, it sucks, but you don't realize it until they're gone sometimes.
No, you don't. No, you don't. I mean, yeah, my godfather passed away 10 years ago now because my daughter was like 6 months old, and he never got to meet her. But he was that for me too. If you're talking on an action standpoint, I'm talking more about my godmother. But from an emotional standpoint, my godfather really set the tone for me in life.
Yeah.
And it's the littlest things. Like he was always there. And, for years, like I didn't know about some of his health problems and stuff that he had. That when I was a kid and he would walk me to the park, how bad his feet hurt. Mm-hmm. And he never complained about it.
Yeah.
Or how he would pick me up from Taekwondo all the time when my mom couldn't. Or just, just sitting and watching movies.
Yeah.
We'd sit and watch Westerns together all the time, and I remember falling asleep on them since I was born. And, like, me and my daughter watched Batman. But that's why.
Right.
That she, like, I kind of accidentally discovered that she really liked the cartoon.
Mm-hmm.
And I just started doing that. And we still do that every day. But, I mean, 100% comes from the connection I have with my godfather.
Yep.
But that physical connection when we would just, like, snuggle on the couch and sit and, like, watch this thing that we've watched 1,000 times.
You can pass that along.
You pass it along, and it's the connection, like, how important that is it's really funny, but it like kind of rounds you out emotionally, and you're able to you know, relate to people and understand people's feelings.
Yeah.
Just from, like, hanging out with someone and giving them a hug.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, like, as a kid or, you know, as a child, you're like, you're present and that's it, and you're just chilling out with Grandpa and that's that. But, like, later on, you reflect on something like that, and you're like, oh wow, this was like something that truly meant something to me, and now I'm trying to do that again. Or
gives you the past, and you realize how important it was. You're
exactly,
like,
and that starts to put things into perspective. Mm-hmm. And that's, you know, I mean, and I'm insanely fortunate too, because my grandparents in general just like to, you know, archive stuff, and just like
awesome.
They have our entire family genealogy mapped back to square one. basically they have I have like some antique guns that my grandpa gave me that he has like a full rundown and report on, like,
oh, fun.
So like I know exactly where it comes from, where it, you know, it was used and where it was and this and thing, and, you know, so just that sort of cataloging, I definitely appreciate that. I'm fortunate that because, you know, I mean, everyone, once people have passed on, it's like, oh, I wish I would have had the ability to ask them this, and this. Like, they knew.
He's like, here.
Yeah.
I know you're going to think of it too late. Here you go. Here it is.
Yeah, and like that's like one of those like heartbreaking, but like that's like their last like physical thing they leave behind for you. Again, is like.
But those are good physical things,
the
man.
The keys to the rest, you know, the rest of it.
The stuff and the stories behind it.
Yeah. But that's the thing, like, my grandpa wrote a book, like, just his memoirs, kind of. And again, he was quiet and reserved and just very observant, so, like, I'm looking forward to reading that and seeing some of his inner workings, you know?
Oh, that's awesome. You get to see him develop.
Yeah,
you see him as a fully formed person.
Exactly.
And you get to see how he got there.
Exactly. Like, there's things, I mean, him as a teenager, and, like, he was, like, a Freemason, like, stuff like that. He did insane stuff, like, that I think is just really interesting.
That's funny, man.
Yeah. So I think, it'll be very interesting.
Super cool. And it's, yeah, I imagine you and him got along because you are him.
Yeah.
In many ways.
We had a very silent understanding.
Mm-hmm.
He never had to, like, reprimand me. Like, I remember him having to get, you know, fucking yell at my cousins and this and that, like, whatever. He never had to do that to me. We had, like, a very...
You guys were just on the same page from day one.
On the same wavelength. Like, yep, got it.
That's very cool.
Yeah.
That's very cool.
So, and that, yeah. And that, luckily, I hopefully have his hair structure. He had full head of hair until the day he died.
Yeah, you showed me that picture. That dude has good hair.
Great hair. I'm hoping I got those genes that I can keep this kicking till the...
You and me both, baby.
To the bitter end. That'd be sweet.
I guess I'm getting up there. I'm a young dinosaur from a fighter perspective. Young dinosaur. And I still got all my hair.
Yeah, you're still good.
People think it's thinning, but no, I just have a giant forehead. It's always been this big.
Yeah.
But, like, nah, man. So,
there's no, like, dipping in the hairline or anything. Like, it's chilling.
No, that's good. I'm happy. But...
Even, like... My dad told me, like, he doesn't have tons of hair, but he told me, like, he was mostly bald by my age, so I'm probably doing all right.
You're like, I'm good. It's thick and beautiful.
So I'll take it. But yeah, and that's another example of a hero too. Is just my dad. Like, again, quiet provider.
Now, is your grandpa your dad's dad?
My mother's father.
Okay.
Yeah. But my father is a lot like my grandfather on that side. Like,
oddly enough, yeah.
Just in terms of
that's how it goes.
Highly intelligent, very reserved, and observational. But it's not conventional, I suppose. Like, my dad is like borderline mechanical genius. Like, he can tinker with anything and
That's
make it
cool.
work or make it function. It's
fun.
insane. I've seen him fix everything from clocks, lawnmowers, cars. Like, he's a mechanic professionally, but like,
He just knows how
you
shit
put
works.
anything, put anything in front of him, he knows how it works, probably just in his brain, and then he starts.
He knows the
fucking
basics
with
of it, though,
exactly.
man. I mean, he knows the basics of structure of how gears turn things.
Exactly.
And he's like, I can apply it to anything. Bam. Okay.
But just now, I'm starting to realize that I have a lot of that with my stuff. You know, like, or, you know, I got that with jiu-jitsu, or, you know, I've applied it to jiu-jitsu.
Jiu-jitsu's your way in. Like, your grandpa was a doctor, your
Yeah.
dad's a mechanic. You're breaking jiu-jitsu down in that same exact
Yes.
fashion. It's the same thought process.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So that's my niche with it.
Remind me, we need to learn some medical Latin. I got to teach
Yeah.
you some medical Latin. It
Yeah,
seems to be in your blood.
I have tons of books and stuff, yeah.
You need to learn those basics.
Yeah. But yeah, I mean, that's the thing. Like, ton of my family is in the medical field, like aunt, uncles, nurses, doctors, whatnot. So
You tear people apart, they put them back together.
Yeah, pretty much. But yeah, just that type of like you said, like my dad, like, he's really good at stuff, but he never brags about it. Like, just does it if he wants
good
to,
because
and
you want
that's
to be
that.
good.
Yeah,
Yeah, man, that's how it goes.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and I respect that.
Yeah. It's an easier way to live too, man.
Yeah.
Just to be quiet.
Yeah.
You know.
And I mean, I'm not the world's best jiu-jitsu person by any means, but like, I do okay.
Got the mind for it.
Yeah, I have the mind for it at least. But even then, I'm not like, oh, I'm a jiu-jitsu genius. Like, I got some stuff working. You want to come hang out and maybe see if you got some stuff working? Like, that's kind of how it is.
Stuff together.
Like, let's see what happens. Like, but yeah, just growing up, you know, you question a lot, like, do I have this? You know, like, you just question a lot of stuff, I guess, but that recently is kind of like solidified. I was like, oh yeah, like,
That's
some
cool.
really good, like, surroundings and just, you know, family setting that way. I was very fortunate that way too. So,
Yeah.
grateful.
Not a lot of dramatic action in your childhood, which is cool, man.
Yeah. Very fortunate in that regard.
Well, I wouldn't call it fortunate. I would call it just like
It is.
good people.
Yeah.
You know, planned ahead.
Yeah.
Or reacted properly.
Yeah.
To whatever situation.
Yeah.
You know.
I agree.
Yeah.
Props to the elders in my life.
Yeah. Seriously, man.
Keeping it real.
Yeah.
And now we're talking about it on a podcast like a decade later. If not more.
Yeah, seriously. So, well, cool. We're keeping it with heroes, staying cool. So, I don't know, where do we steer it? We've gone kind of familial about it. Oh, my watch is almost dead, so I had to charge it. So I have to look at my phone.
Oh yeah.
It's funny, I don't wear a real watch anymore.
I only wear a real watch to get away from my phone now. It's nice. Like, I set alarms on it, do whatever, have my stopwatch. A lot of the shit I do on that.
Yep.
But without the ability to go on Facebook and fuck with stuff. I'm like,
Now, I have minimal apps and stuff on my phone for that. Only like one or two of them are have alerts set up.
Yeah.
And
I turn so many notifications
I don't
off.
do the notification thing. I'm as little plugged in as possible.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I have a Fitbit. That's why I like to wear the watch because I like the sleep tracker. I really should only wear it when I sleep.
Yeah.
Honestly, sleep tracker's amazing. But
yeah. Since we've just been like upping stuff and doing more stuff with this and just other stuff, like unfortunately it's a massive part of time, and that doesn't have to be. It doesn't have to be.
I mean,
like, I've learned to like put limits on, like, oh, I know I'm wasting time now, or oh, I know I'm doing something productive. So,
yeah, it's, I don't know, having to edit the podcast, say, is I use that as a way to streamline my day.
Yeah.
I'm wasting time here. I'm being productive here.
Yeah.
And I saw it as a way in because it takes some time. It takes me at least a couple hours to edit an episode. And really, like, that's why I do the pictures on YouTube, because it keeps me focused. Well, I do like the slideshow. It keeps me engaged in it so that I don't miss stuff.
Yeah.
And but that has really, I that's what I did it for. Is I intentionally used it as a jump point. It wasn't a surprise. I was like, I'm wasting shit in my day. I'm doing some dumb stuff. So it allowed me to structure my entire week and cleared all kinds of stuff up. And it was really cool.
Yeah. Yeah, it's like,
But,
even, I mean, prior to us getting on, like, a schedule, per se, like, past couple weeks been, like, Thursday, Friday, pretty
yeah, we're pretty
standardly,
regular
like,
with that, yeah. Coffee, regular.
Coffee. Regular. But, yeah, that's kind of been, like, the standard, and that's, like, yeah, it's, like, structures my day around that a little bit, like, I can plan around, like, oh, I'm going to do the podcast, and then we're going to roll right into this, and this, like,
Yep.
That organization came with just doing it and learning where I needed to be organized.
Yeah, we're both pretty open-minded people, though, because we did kind of go into it that way, too. We got to...
Yeah.
When are we going to have time to do this? I don't know. Let's just pick a time.
Yeah.
And then, I remember the text where you're like, we should do this once a week. I'm like, let's
sure?
give it a shot.
And then they were like, fucking... So, wait, like, we skipped a couple weeks because we had shit to do. It's not like it, like, made the podcast stumble on its face or anything. Like, we're very go with the flow,
Yeah. But it's funny how we've both kind of used it we've added a thing to subtract things.
Yes. Oh, yeah. It definitely, like, gives a direction to, like, a lot of what I, like, think about. Just in terms of, like, what I want to include, or, like...
Yeah, I find myself
like,
doing
even, like,
that,
little
too.
bits of, like, the promos, or just, like, a picture I want to put up, like... Or just in terms of, like, the back-end stuff of, like, promoting other people, or other podcasts, or other products, or other this, like...
Yeah.
That's a part of it, too. That's fun, in my opinion. Like... But just packing value into it, and packing...
Understanding what that means.
Yeah, not just making it, like,
I've listened to a lot
blind
of Garry
bullshit.
V in my life just because of you. And
Yeah.
now I just want to, like, drink wine and yell. But,
You're just like, love yourself!
God damn it! I have an inclusive work environment. Everyone likes, But you like the whole adding value thing is I understood that on sort of I don't have a word, on a not quite level. Once again, hand motions worked. On a very surface level.
Sure.
But then it's starting to, like, you've been throwing actual physical things at me, like, do this. Oh, I got an idea for this.
Yeah.
And I'm like, oh, that's what that means.
Yeah,
adding
yeah.
value in this way in this age. I get it. Okay.
Yeah, like, I've learned a lot about sort of the history of, like, advertising, I guess, and, like, what makes people buy stuff. Or,
That's
like,
interesting.
Gravitate towards stuff.
Yeah, I know that from a print perspective. I know
yeah.
how to draw something that'll make you catch your eye exactly where I want you to
Yeah.
catch your eye. But,
I've
there's
always been, like,
yeah.
fascinated by, like, what's going to draw people in and, like, what makes them engage for, like, that product or, whatever. Like, what makes them, like, oh, this is cool. Or, like,
Yeah, I mean,
things like,
why am I a mark? What do I like?
Like, like ads, like, iconic ads. Like, where's the beef? Or, shit like that. Like, I think that I just found that always very interesting, and just kind of like that branding stuff, and like that brand awareness type stuff.
And creating the brand of what we're doing has been an interesting process, because
it's been a lot more fun than I thought.
It's like, a lot more fun than I thought, because we're very go with the flow about it,
and we're making it fun.
We're making it fun. We're not trying to put it on like this compressed timeline.
Yeah,
we're letting it breathe. We're letting it grow.
And that, I think, that comes from a lot of, like, Garry V, Simon Sinek, comes back to, like, the taking care of
the circle, man.
Yeah, like, just taking care of it. Like, you need help, I'll help you out. I need help, help me out. Like, it's fine.
Yeah, and I mean, I think both people that are leaders, we both are leaders in sort of our own sort of separate communities and stuff, but we're able to bring that into our friendship with each other, and be reliable and non-judgmental, and be laid back about it. And
none of it's like the end of the world. It's just, I mean, shit. Like, I literally treat it like it's like every episode is another learning experience. Like,
very much
I learned so much, like, per episode, and, like, in between each episode, that, like, I'm so excited to do the next one because we have, like, a new thing to do.
Yeah, because we have something to do, and we get to, like, work it out.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, I say all the time, I'm alone most of the time. Mm-hmm. So you're my one guy I get to sit and talk to.
Yeah.
Like, for real.
Someone's talking about they're like, this is like what you do all day, or this and that. I was like, yeah, I'm very fortunate, and this is pretty much all I get to think about.
Yeah, this is what I do.
I'm very fortunate to do this. So, I'm going to come up with some weird shit.
Yeah. And we're both outliers in that respect.
Yeah. But I think we're both, like, we just both like over question ourselves and like we're like, should we do it? Should I do it? And then like once you do it, you're like, oh fuck, that was awesome. I should have done that a long time ago.
Hey, glad we did it. Yeah.
But that came back a lot to like the Garry V thing too. Is just like execution. Fucking do it. Don't sit around and speculate about it. Fucking do it. Make adjustments. Do it again.
Yeah.
Fuck around. Make adjustments. Do it again.
Yeah. The whole just not being afraid to fall on your face in front of everybody.
Yeah.
And I think, when my daughter went to first grade, that was the first time I was alone all day in like 6 years. And I freaked out. First week, I just sat on my couch and cried.
What the fuck do I do?
Like, it was horrible. Like, I'd been eased into that. Like, preschool was real hard, but it was 2 mornings a week. Kindergarten was real hard, but it was just mornings.
Right.
And
it was all day. You're like, ah!
Yeah, each one of those, I had a week of, like, sitting down crying about it, and then I had to structure it.
Yeah.
Because then I got it. And then, first grade really hit because it was silent. I didn't have to make anybody food. I didn't have to do anything. I'm like, oh my God, what do I do?
After that being your routine for so long?
Yeah. And then, all right, so this is actually leading to something. A little bit on the heroes bit, but more on the emulating things. I started listening to podcasts. And so I'm like, all right, go with what I know. I'm looking up martial arts podcasts. I discover that Taekwondo I'm not interested in people in it anymore, and it doesn't have much of a presence on YouTube. I'm like, all right, I love judo. Judo's got a bit more of a presence, and a lot more now. But, we're talking a lot of years ago. And then I kind of started to discover jiu-jitsu. And, Travis Stevens kind of bridged that for me. And discovering the Take It Uneasy podcast doesn't exist anymore. But bring it back, Lex. And between the Jimmy Pedro episode and the Travis Stevens episode, I found people that I could identify with. Me and Travis Stevens are on the same page as far as how to train around injury and how to not make excuses on shit.
Still, like, overall podcast goals. Travis Stevens.
Jimmy Pedro as a coach, I followed him a little bit as a competitor. But as a coach, just that engaging coach was cool. And then I started listening to other podcasts and talking about Garry V. I heard him early on, and it was sort of on that line of just do something, get started.
Yeah.
And I did. Like, I sent an email to this one company that podcast I led to, asking them for a job.
Yeah.
And I'm like, they probably want to get back to me. But I had to do something, and it started a snowball.
Yeah, exactly.
And then I was like, all right, I just start. I have to start. I'm a bad starter. I'm good in the middle and the end, but getting started can be tough.
Yeah.
And so it's just, dive in, figure it out, adjust, figure it out, adjust. And I'm like, yeah. And here we are.
That's something, that's something I had to hardwire myself around because, like, more or less, like, that's what my anxiety is. It'll deer in the headlight, kind of just, like, not execute.
Yeah.
So, like, execution literally is the remedy.
Yeah.
If I start doing something and, like,
execution's the remedy for not executing.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And as hard as it was to discover that, once I did, my coping mechanisms were immediately, like, way better.
Immediately on point. And it's so funny because when I had to rediscover it, because I knew it, I had it, I've been training for years, I've been alive.
Yeah.
I've done a lot. I'm a very much, my aunt always told me, there's a saying in our family: as long as you as long as you land on your head, you'll be fine.
Yeah.
Because we're all hard-headed people, like, literally. And so, like, I have that.
Yeah.
But like, the anxiety kicks in, and I don't want to do it. And I hadn't done it in a long time. I checked out. I was just a dad.
I remember, like, with this particularly, like, the Facebook page, like, I don't want to do it.
I can't do it.
And I was like, nah, dude, fucking do it. And you did it. It was fucking great.
You did it. It's fucking great, yeah. But, as a way back in.
Yep.
And I specifically, if you're talking about heroes, just martial arts as a hero.
Oh, yeah.
When I started deciding that I needed to work my way back into society, I'm like, how do I do things? I do everything through martial arts and knowing people.
Yep.
Everything.
Yeah.
And I was like, all right, so I'm gonna start with martial arts. I started listening to stuff. I was like, this is I'll lead me somewhere. I'll figure it out. And that's how it worked.
Martial arts gave me the avenue to, like, break down big words like networking, marketing, this and that. Like,
give you a physical.
I'm like, I have to go to college and learn marketing, or I have to like go to this and learn advertising. It's like, well, no, boil it down to what you're doing, apply it to what you're doing, and then just grow it from there. Like now I'm starting to like understand trends and like weird, cool little things, and like on top of learning what doesn't fucking work.
Yeah,
like I know that too.
Yeah.
But
yeah, that's been a fun thing too, learning what doesn't work. I'm still finding things where like I screwed up in the beginning when we were setting this up, and I'm slowly correcting it.
Exactly, but like looking at those failures and being like, oh, that was just a hiccup. Like it didn't like make the podcast fuck up entirely. Like that was just a thing that we can do differently later.
Yeah, we can adjust that, and then you discover those things as we go. We're getting better and better as we go.
Yeah, and like that's something, again, trusting the process, having faith in that. Like jiu-jitsu made me have the ability to trust the process through the shittiest stuff.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, I had one of my kids last night, like, ask me, like, how long did it take you to get your brown belt? And I was like, 10 years, and I'm still kicking. Like, and he was like, how'd you do that? And I was like, you keep showing up.
Just keep showing up.
As cliche as that is, like, man, like, I had a lot of days. Like, I know you guys are tired and hungry or whatever. Some days you don't want to train, but, like, you gotta train.
Just keep showing up. I was having a fun conversation with my daughter the other day. There's various people in our lives that have health issues. And a lot of them relate back to just lifestyle things.
Yeah.
And I was trying to boil this down. I said, do you know I train every day, buddy? And I was joking because, like, I train every day, but I don't clean every day. Sometimes I won't clean so I can train. And she's like, no, why? I said, because you can take a day. I can get 24, if I can schedule 24 hours, I can catch up on all this. But if I don't train, I can't make it up.
Yes.
I can't. You can't, like, just, I'm going to train for 24 hours and make up for this past 2 weeks. Bam. No.
It doesn't work that way.
You have to keep showing up. You have to be consistent. And, Taekwondo taught me that. And
the deeper you get in, the more you have to restructure.
Yeah, but I mean, today, I've been really diligently working on learning this new strength and conditioning stuff. It's good stuff. I will share some of it with you, but not a lot until June, because I need another month.
Yeah,
I need another month to keep doing it. I'm starting to understand it better.
Yeah,
but like
that's why I respect you as a coach. You do it and you understand it before you give it to me.
Yeah, and I mean, I was doing it today. Like I kind of didn't have an extra hour, but I'm like, you know what? Screw it. I got an hour. I'm going to do it. I'm going to get it done. I feel great. I'm glad I did it. I had the hour.
Yeah.
Because I'm thinking, you know what? I watched Cobra Kai this morning. I watched an episode. I had extra time. I got time. Do it.
Yeah.
And, but I put it in, and I thought of that thing I said to my daughter about, you got to do this every day because it adds up.
Mm-hmm.
You can't forego it because the consequences don't hit you until far down the line, and then it's expensive. It's an expensive crapshoot. It's this surgery or this medication or this, you have to change this, and it might work, and it might just have shitty side effects.
Right.
And
I think training like that every day and just like training for longevity, like that's an investment. Like you have to understand that it
goes back
is
to
an
Dick Van
investment.
Dyke, baby.
Yeah.
Invest. That's an investment in keep moving.
Yeah. Like you hear fucking people say it all the time, like, once I retired and stopped moving, I died, shit like that.
You don't have purpose anymore.
Yeah.
Like, to bring it back to Avenue Q, Purpose. Have you ever seen that?
No.
It's fucking hilarious. Great musical. But, you gotta have something to do. There's gotta be a reason to get up in the morning.
Yeah.
You lose the reason, then it's time to move on.
Right.
And
that's not knowing that, but just observing that, whether it was like the generation ahead of me and just like realizing like working in a shitty job for whatever hours a day and then coming home and drinking yourself to sleep or this or that, like isn't the way. Like I knew that there had to be a different
There's a different avenue for that. Yeah, definitely. And it's like, live as long as you can, as healthy as you can, and
really take it to a fucking disease if you got it. Like, fuck you, cancer, or whatever.
Yeah, but then, it's almost like die by choice, not by circumstance.
Yeah.
Or
die in combat.
Oh, well, that's
the ultimate death, the honorable.
Yeah. But, it's not because of all your shitty decisions caught up to you. It's because you did everything you were going to do, and everyone's secure and got it all laid out.
Yeah.
You're okay.
Yeah.
You can move on and be cool with it because it's time.
Yeah.
Not be forced out.
Yeah. I agree.
Well,
That thinking alone, I think will take you a lot further in training in life than being fucking closed-minded.
well, yeah. So,
Probably gotta wrap her up soon.
pretty soon, man. This is a good one.
It was a good one.
Any closing thoughts?
Depends on like how deep you go into martial arts heroes, like Tier 1, Ninja Turtles, Bruce Lee, Batman, then you start digging in a little bit,
Yeah.
Some obscure references like gargoyles, stuff like that, then you start getting into like family references and stuff like that.
But just, if you're looking for traits you want to emulate, you're looking for people that inspire you to become something, you're looking for consistent actions and understanding that it's a process and building, then look at people out there. There's people, there's stories, there's,
That's the thing, a lot of it comes down to just like, shh, listen,
just
observe,
shut up,
see
and
what's
listen.
going on.
Yeah. Don't think you know everything.
Yeah.
Go in and know nothing and just listen and let the pieces fall into place and understand that it's not going to happen instantly. You do get your epiphanies.
Sure.
But they build over time. They took time to get to that point, where to the tipping point.
What you gotta do, trust the process.
Trust the process.
God damn.
Yeah.
It's a fact.
But yeah, look to your heroes within us, within boundaries.
Yeah. But
No.
at the end of the day, execute. Do stuff. Do something.
Do something, yeah. It doesn't have to be successful. It
It
doesn't
could
even have to
be-
anything come of it. Just do it.
Yeah, like ask that person you want to ask out, or fucking go rescue a dog from. I don't know, do something. Like help somebody,
Yeah.
see what happens. Like you'd be surprised.
Yeah, you'd be surprised how quickly things come around.
Yeah.
How positive actions build.
You sit around and bitch about stuff. It's probably because you're fucking
Yeah. And
putting the energy into it, and then
yeah. Don't put the energy into it.
Exactly.
Put energy into being positive.
And that's the thing. Like, as someone who hates cliches and like stuff like that, I talk about them a lot and I use them
Say
a
'em a
lot,
lot.
and like because they're fucking true. Unfortunately,
Damn it. We've reached the wisdom point where they know they're true.
but yeah, just looking for the truth that fulfills those kind of cliches.
Yeah, and
It's funny, but
yeah, your heroes can do that.
yeah,
Huh.
and like obviously, I don't think people have clear cut. Like life or death, right or wrong decisions every day. Like that's not life. It's we're not battling, mutants in the streets of New York. We're just people.
Yeah.
So the choices aren't as dramatic or as noticed, but
No.
you still got to make the right choice. I think.
Yeah.
Right?
Or just make a choice.
A choice.
And then
Move.
deal with the consequences and make another choice.
Yeah. Don't be a deer in the headlights.
Yeah.
In life.
Yeah.
Do stuff. Be happy. Drink coffee.
All right.
Keep your coffee regular.
Yeah. Peace in.
Peace in. Have a great day.
All right.